Hello everyone, it's me. Uh, so over the next month, I will be including gluten back into my diet, which, as a lot of you know, or well, my friends on Facebook, uh, know that will be a bad thing for me as I'm celiac. And I've decided I want to document how I'm going to basically react to it over the next month. The reason I'm putting gluten back into my diet is because at the end of October, I'm actually going in to get some tests done, and they're going to show how bad of a reaction my body has to gluten for the celiac stuff, but also to test for some other things, which will be fun. The reason I'm doing a little vlog for it, as I like to say, uh, is for a few reasons. I think, first of all, I want to basically document myself and sort of kind of be able to go back to it when I'm at a better stage in my life, I guess, like a more healthier stage, and just be able to reflect and see how far I've come. Because at the moment, I'm not feeling the best, and I haven't been for a while. The second reason I want to do a vlog about it and my experience with it is basically when I first heard about, celiac disease, I didn't actually have it. It was about a year before I got diagnosed. And it was when I was on a professional experience at a school and one of the staff members there had it. And I remember her mentioning it and going, "Oh, what's that?" And she described that, "Oh, like it's just this horrible thing that puts, me out." Like she couldn't do anything. I can't quite remember what she said, but it sounded horrible. But at that time, I didn't quite process it. Like, not that I wasn't empathetic about it. It was just like I just didn't realize how severe it would be and how much of an impact something like that would have on your life, sort of thing. And so now being diagnosed with it and experiencing it and having all these problems with it, I guess I kind of want to explain it and put it out there a bit more of what it is like, because I think it is something that is really serious and it does affect you a lot in not just physical but mentally as well. And I just don't really, I just look back at myself and when I first heard about it and my reaction of being like, oh, that's horrible, but not really being able to understand it or, just really think about it. So, and I just don't want, I guess, to be seen that way, to be honest. It's pretty selfish, but, it's also to educate people. But yeah, I just think it's something I don't want people to look at me and go, oh, he's overreacting or like, whatever, like, sort of thing. I guess it is something that's does have a huge effect on people, and I think it's something we need to be a bit more aware about, not just like with celiac disease, but also like like people with Crohn's, people with all these other body issues. We don't really quite realize how much it does affect them, and I think we kind of like play it down to, oh, they're overreacting, or like even with like someone who's suffering from depression, we're just like, oh, well they should just like bring themselves out of it and sort of thing and like do something, go for a run. And it's like, well, no, like it's not quite like that. um so yeah, I guess the second reason is I just want to show the world what it really can be like with celiac and like how much it does affect you. And the reason I'm doing that through a vlog is because um I guess when you write it down, you can't really see how I'm feeling. Whereas I feel if I do videos on the days I feel awful, you're probably going to be able to see that on my face and hear it in my voice. So, I kind of wanted to just document it that way, I guess. All right. So if we're going to do this, I should probably explain my history with the disease. So how long ago was it? It was about a year ago. Um, I guess I was going through a very emotional, stressful time. I won't go into details about that. But um, I think it was just after I met Matt, my partner, and yeah, I think one more. It's like it was really random. Just one morning, I woke up and I went to have breakfast with because I was living with my mum, and like I remember telling her that I felt a bit weird in the stomach. I can't quite remember how, but I just remember telling her that. And so I had breakfast, and then put my bowl in the sink. And then as I was walking back, I think I started to faint. Like so, my eyesight started to darken. Like you know how you get black spots in your eyes and all that. You know if you've ever fainted. Uh, and then the noise around me all came very muffled, sort of things. So as if you had earmuffs on or something. And so I had to get a seat, and we had to call the paramedics and everything. And anyway, I just had this really sharp pain in like my side, so sort of like right side, where you think your I can't remember what it's called. I'm gonna have to think about it. Where your appendix is. All right. Yeah. So where your appendix is, and so calling the ambulance and all that. They didn't. If it was appendicitis, it wasn't very severe, and they just told me to go to the hospital basically. Um, and so that's what I did, and I did like a scan a few days later or something. Like I say, it obviously wasn't appendicitis because like I didn't need to get my appendix removed straight away. Um, but we're worried that something around it was going on, obviously, and that like maybe it was just inflamed or like mildly inflamed. But yes, we went and got a scan done, and it turned out like there was just nothing, like no inflammation around that area. And then I think I had some problems with the doctors, so I changed to a doctor, and then that doctor was like, "Oh, you might have celiac," and so I went and did some tests for that. And yes, and then like I was on a road trip with Matt a few days later when I got the call, like in the middle of the car, oh, in the middle of the road, I was in a car, and that's when they told me, "Oh yeah, you've got like celiac disease. You should probably stop eating gluten." So yeah, that's what I did, and that one came after like months of basically feeling this horrible ache in my side. Like I couldn't even. I live near the beach, and I just sometimes I was able to walk along it, and then other times like I could barely make it 300 meters, like without just this heavy feeling like being kicked in the guts basically. And so I had to turn back and go straight home from those walks, and that had been like that for ages. Obviously bowel movements and stuff changed, which wasn't pretty. They're still like that. Anyway, so yeah, so I got diagnosed, and then as soon as I got off gluten, I felt a bit better, right? Fast forward to this year when I went on another professional experience at a school, which was really amazing. It was supposed to be my last practice, so it was joining professional experience 2 and 3 together, but my body basically started acting up again like I had eaten gluten, which really sucked. And so we figured it was stress related, so I had to change it to just my second professional experience instead of like just finishing off my whole thing, which kind of sucked, but oh well. And basically, what I felt then again was that sort of like that kick in the guts. Again, it wasn't as bad as the year before, but it was still to a point where it was like affecting me to the point where like I wasn't sure if I'd be able to complete the experience. Honestly, it was kind of disheartening to be on a gluten-free diet and then still get those symptoms. Like it just obviously you're not getting well with celiac stuff. You're not getting your nutrients because your body just. I'll explain that in another video probably, but yeah, you're not usually getting your nutrients, and whatever was going on with me, I assume I probably wasn't getting my nutrients then as well. So if you're tired, you're exhausted, and then you're stressed with the professional experience, and you're I felt like I was failing it really, because it went against all my expectations of how it was going to go, um, and yeah, it was really disheartening, and like that depression did sort of start setting in of like like I can't do this, like what am I going to do with life and that sort of thing. Um, but I did get through it. Uh, Still hoping to finish my studies, and I can do relief work, but just not with my body at the moment. Um, but yeah, so that ended, and that kind of prompted me going back to the doctors and needing to go, oh, like something else needs to be going on with my body. Like this can't just be celiac because I haven't eaten gluten anywhere. In saying that, just as I went to the doctors, I did eat gluten, and it was like one of the worst experiences I ever had because I literally could not walk around just without this horrible, horrible, heavy feeling. Like all I could imagine was like if I'd had surgery and like they'd like sewn me up and stitched me up and like I like just feeling the pain of that. Like that's how I imagined it to feel. I've never had that done, so probably wrong. But yeah, it was just that awful feeling and feeling kicked in the guts and just like feeling just like your body is basically about to fall out, which is not the prettiest way to put it, but that's how it felt. It was really horrible, and that lasted for like ages. Probably the first week was the worst. I had planned to do some relief work, but that didn't quite work out because obviously my body needed to be better and I could barely walk around. So, it wasn't going to happen. Um, and just ever since then, and that with the practice, it just kind of hasn't been the same. My body, like, I'm still not able to do relief work because just even like walking down the road, like we celebrated my partner's birthday by going, to the city, and I could it was just a horrible experience of having to walk around the town and go to places because like it was just so much pain, and the fact that it's there all the time, like just no matter what you're doing, it's just it gets to you. Like all you just want to do is give up. To be honest, it's really horrible. Um. So yeah, and then I talked to my doctor again, and they mentioned that I could have not just Crohn's, but um IBD, which is inflammatory bowel disease, which is your Crohn's and also ulcerative colitis, I think. So I went and did more tests just to recheck if it was celiac, and it was. But I also did have markers for IBD, which is the other reason I am going in for these tests at the end of the month, is to find out what that is, like what else, what the other thing that's going on is, because I'm obviously not just celiac, which sucks. But what was really interesting is that when I got the results back after not being able to like walk out of my room without feeling pain, and like just that horrible pain earlier, probably like a couple months ago, um, the test for that actually said the celiac antibodies in my body, which basically make me feel horrible, were actually really low. So that came as a surprise because I did have such a big reaction. And so, kind of going into these tests, what I'm wondering is, with the other thing that's going on with my body, I'm wondering if that's making my reaction to the celiac stuff worse, sort of thing. Um, or vice versa, I guess, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's basically it. That's my story. I've already started eating gluten, so what I found out when I accidentally ate gluten that other time was I usually don't start getting the symptoms until about a day or two after. So probably tomorrow or the next day, I will start feeling the effects, and I'll probably do a video then and talk about it a bit more and how I'm feeling, and I guess show what's going on. If you've watched all the way through, thank you for listening. And I guess I'll see you with another video. I hope I've piqued your interest. Keep in tune.